Yo guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a different video on the channel. In this one, I just thought I'd take the time to talk about what I would like out of this year's Call of Duty. Now, this year's Call of Duty is literally labelled Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And basically I thought, I kind of hope that it links in with Modern Warfare, like, COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. I do hope that, those games aren't forgotten about. I do hope that going forward, or as development of the game proceeded, that, Infinity Ward and Activision didn't forget them. So I really hope this isn't a reboot of the franchise. I kind of hope that this is like a what if sort of timescale, because Modern Warfare 3 finished 2012, so something like that, 2011. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 finished in 2011, and obviously it was written in, like, as the story was written in 2011, the campaign and everything like that was written 2011. So this is sort of like 8 years later. Obviously 2019, 2020 is where this story picks up, according to leaks and everything. So I'm kind of hoping for, like, obviously it's going to be modern day, everything like that, but I'm kind of hoping for like a 8 year later, kind of storyline fits in, ties in and everything with Modern Warfare's 1, 2, and 3. So I'm hoping for the iconic locations mentioned in, obviously, the trailer, which, if you haven't seen it already, links in the description down below, go ahead and watch it. But the iconic locations is obviously like London, Trafalgar Square, or Leicester Square, I think it is. You've got Tokyo, you've got, Bruges, you've got Berlin, so obviously Paris as well. So there's iconic capital locations from around the world that's going to be in this campaign. I would also like to see Easter eggs, tie-ins, or references to previous Modern Warfare games, such as Makarov, Zakayev, Soap, Yuri, etc. So obviously, tie-ins, Easter eggs are important in maintaining a franchise, and I would love to see. Those types of tie-ins with the campaign. Right now, we're just talking about the campaign. I'll get onto the multiplayer later on. But as for the solely just for the campaign, I think it's important that they stick to what Modern Warfare was, or what the story was, and sort of build it going forward. Like I previously mentioned, like a what if 8 years later type of scenario. The story has to flow consistently. That's the thing. It has to sort of pick up from where it left off, but leave enough to the player's imagination to fill in the gaps from, obviously, when you start playing the first mission. So I would imagine the first mission in the campaign is something like a recap, like a sort of this is what happened, blah 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 kind of thing, from obviously Captain Price's eyes, because Captain Price is going to be in this game as confirmed in the trailer. So I'm kind of hoping for a big campaign here. Obviously, we didn't get a campaign in Black Ops 4, and I was severely disappointed by this. But I'm hoping that this campaign really hits the nail on the head, so to speak. I would like to see the player actually be Captain Price. Obviously, you portray the role as Captain Price in said missions, in said campaign, in said story. So I would like to actually see that. See you be Price and sort of lead the squad that you were with in the trailer. No idea who they are yet. That isn't confirmed or rumored or leaked or anything like that. So we don't actually know who those other characters are. But I would personally like to see a reappearance of Task Force 141, who were a joint task force between the US Marines, the CIA, and someone else. The SAS, that's it. And they were sort of like the best of the best, picked from all these different, top-ranking soldiers, all grouped into one task force. And you were basically the best Black Ops team in the world. You know, you took on missions where any other soldier would go, nah, I'm Gucci. You know, so you took on mission. You were literally Black Ops. You know, sort of disavowed if anything. If you know, if you got caught behind enemy lines, you were disavowed by your government. You know, you technically didn't exist, etc., etc. So that's basically what Task Force 141 was. And I'd like to see, obviously, after the events of Modern Warfare 3, where Captain Price and Yuri survived Makarov's final stand. I don't know where that was. That might have been Moscow. Don't quote me on that. But obviously after Makarov's last stand at the end of Modern Warfare 3, I would have liked to see Task Force 141 sort of be reinstated and additional soldiers, you know, added to the roster to sort of back Price up and obviously give him a new squad to lead after Soap's death in Modern Warfare 3. So that's basically what I would like to see. I would like to see Task Force 141, a bit more history, a bit more story to that, and push that sort of keep pushing that cart, so to speak, because you know, I still think there's a lot of story there to tell. As far as the 141 are concerned, I would love to see that storyline continue going forward. Obviously, that may not happen. You know, I think we might get a new task force or joint task force between several different organizations or, you know, intelligence agencies around the world. So we might see that, as obviously with Price as the leader though of said group. So we'll see. Obviously, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the information that is being leaked and rumored about Modern Warfare, because I'm actually excited. I'm actually excited for this Call of Duty. I shouldn't be, but I am. Primarily because I'm a huge campaign nerd and I love the campaigns. I love the stories that go with it. So that's what I think. But bottom line, you know, there was a mission in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare game, called Shock and Awe in the first act, where it was revealed in Modern Warfare 3 that during the events of Shock and Awe, Vladimir Makarov detonated a nuclear warhead in Basra, which wiped out 30,000 US Marines, and that was the event that caused General Shepard in Modern Warfare 2 to go down his, you know, dark path and start betraying the government and the Task Force 141 and start trying to kill Price and Soap. So that was basically the kickstart, if you like, behind Shepard's, you know, like I said, dark path in Modern Warfare 2. And personally, I think that the antagonists in this new campaign for Modern Warfare will be a new faction or an organization or a group that rises up against the rest of the world for letting said nuclear blast happen back in, you know, whenever it was, like 2008 or whatever it was. So that was like at least 10 years ago. So there's been a lot of time between the events of Shock and Awe and obviously this campaign coming up. And since Modern Warfare 3 as well, you know, there's 8 years? Like I said previously, there's been 8 years since Modern Warfare 3 to now. So there has been a big time gap in which there are numerous stories to tell. I would like to see the campaign last 3 acts, so Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, just like the previous campaigns in Modern Warfare's 1, 2, and 3, which spans approximately something like 15 to 16 missions. But they were pretty long missions, you know, they weren't just like 5 minutes in and out. They were like, sort of like 15, 20 minutes detailed missions with several objectives along the way. And it allowed for the character arcs to develop as well as in-depth storytelling and creative writing. So I kind of liked how the Modern Warfare story developed over the course of the 3 games. And obviously, you know, GG to whoever wrote the stories. But for me, the Modern Warfare story arc as a whole is the best story arc going. I mean, the Black Ops story arc kind of was okay until Black Ops 3 kind of, you know, but Black Ops 3 kind of killed that story arc, because it was okay with Modern Warfare, with World at War, sorry, And then obviously Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. I mean, Black Ops 2 was a fucking incredible campaign. Jesus Christ, I could go on for hours about that, but I'm not going to in this video. But yeah, Black Ops 2 was an incredible campaign, and then Black Ops 3 come along, and I was sort of hyped for it and buzzing for it, and then I was let down. There was a massive disappointment, and when obviously Infinite Warfare, that's the one. Quoting Marvel now, am I? But yeah, Infinite Warfare come out, and that campaign was just dog shit. Let's be honest, it was absolute dog shit. Black Ops 4 didn't have a campaign, like I say. The best campaign previously to, obviously, this upcoming 2019 Call of Duty game is obviously Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 was the last solid campaign that we had. And personally, I'm hoping that this campaign coming up rivals that and continues the legacy of Modern Warfare. Because if you think about it, Modern Warfare, as a sub-franchise of Call of Duty, is probably the most recognized alongside Black Ops. So you've got Black Ops and you've got Modern Warfare leading the line in terms of Call of Duty sub-franchises. And it's got to happen. It's got to happen. So I'm hoping, I've been rambling now for 11 minutes, but I hope that this campaign is up there. It has to be. It has to be. Has to be. Anyway, moving on to the multiplayer, and this is where things start getting a bit technical, because there is a lot of aspects to multiplayer. You've got creator class, you've got the perks, you've got weapons, you've got the maps and everything as such. So I'm hoping that the multiplayer is going to play out the same way as it did in Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. Where you had primary, secondary, tactical, lethal, perks 1, 2, and 3, and a death streak, as well as whatever your score streaks were. So I'm hoping that creator class returns at level 1 instead of level 4 or 5, whatever, because that changed over the course of like a few games in the past. But I'm hoping that creator class returns at level 1. Just so we have access to our own classes, our own makeup as soon as we get into the game. This way, it's sort of, you don't have to wait and use the absolutely terrible classes at the start of the game, at the start of the multiplayer, waiting for level 4 to 5. I personally believe creator class should be there straight away. It's as simple as that. Creator class should also have the same category systems, like I said just a few minutes ago, as the same Modern Warfare installments. So you've like I say, primary, secondary, tactical, lethal. You've got your death streaks, etc., etc. Perk 1, 2, and 3. So perk 1, I'm hoping that these perks is going to be in perk 1. I've got sleight of hand, I've got scavenger, marathon, and blind eye. Now, obviously, you guys can look up what those perks actually do, but I'm hoping that those are going to be in perk 1. Perk 2 is steady aim, hardline, assassin, and overkill. Again, you guys can look this up. And obviously, perk 3 could be ninja, sit rep, cold-blooded, and stopping power. So taking elements from Modern Warfare's 1, 2, and 3 there, just combining the whole lot into what perks 1, 2, and 3 there, just categorizing it, and hoping, trying to balance it out as well. So I'm kind of hoping that's what that might be. In terms of the perks that might be in the game. Some of them will be, obviously, like Scavenger, Sleight of Hand, etc. The classic, well-used perks, or overused perks, if that's the term you want to use. But realistically, I can't say all of those perks that I've just mentioned being in the game, but I would like to see it. Moving on to the primary weapons, we've got assault rifles, SMGs, shotguns, sniper rifles, and LMGs. So five different categories there. There's 4 categories for secondary weapons, which is explosives, handguns, the combat knife, and obviously the riot shield. So technically only two categories there with 2 other weapons additionally. But I'll get on to what weapons that I think might be in the categories in just a moment. But as for the maps, I'd preferably like the maps to be medium-sized. So basically, I don't like, me personally, this is all my views, guys, this is all my opinion, but I don't like large maps. I really don't like humongous, huge maps, because you really can't really find anyone. Everyone's usually mid-map anyway, and it just becomes a clusterfuck. It's the same as small maps like Nuketown. You know, you've got 12 people on a map like Nuketown, and it gets to the point where it's just a massive clusterfuck. The spawn points get fucked up, and it's like you can easily get spawn trapped. You know, it's just not fun to play. Let's be fair. So that's why I'm kind of hoping that small maps are at an absolute minimum, whereas large maps are kind of here and there. But like, I would prefer the majority of the maps in the multiplayer to be medium sized. Weapon balancing is an absolute must as well, because previous Call of Duties have had weapons that have been like 1-2 shot kills, especially on core. Now, this doesn't exactly give you time to react. It doesn't give you time to find cover, etc., or even retaliate. It doesn't really do much of that either. So personally, you know, the most recent example I can think of is Black Ops 4 with the Titan LMG. It was a LMG with 0 damage drop off. It held, with extended mags 1 and 2, it held 150 rounds, and it was a 3-shot kill, guys, from any range. You could literally sit from one map to the other, like one side of the map to the other, pop, 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 dead. That's it. 3 hits, the guy was dead. There was no damage drop off whatsoever. However, damage drop off is... I personally believe that damage drop off should be implemented into the game, because, you know, it gets to the point where you don't really need to move. You know, campers, etc. It just gives you more of an excuse to camp in a corner with a high-powered weapon. Whereas if you have damage drop off, the further away your target is, the less damage you're going to do to him. It's, you know, it's already in Fortnite. It's already in, you know, Apex Legends. Other, you know, I'm quoting Battle Royale games here, but it's in a lot of shooter category games where the further away your target is, the less damage you do. It's that simple, you know. It's common sense as well. Like, come on, it's easily scripted, it's easily programmed into the game as well. So it's not like you've got an excuse not to put it in. As for the weapons that I would like to see make a return, at least to begin with obviously additional weapons being added as part of the promised free DLC that Activision have promised us, as well as, you know, everything else, because there isn't a season pass. So any new DLC is going to be free. You won't have to pay for it. So the weapons that I have chosen to be added into the game, as far as the assault rifle's concerned, I would like to see the M4 assault rifle return, the ACR, the SCAR H or SCAR L, the TAR 21, and the AK-47. Basically, assault rifles are medium damage with medium range, you know? And I've sort of gone through each of the Modern Warfare games at this point, and I've picked out which weapons have the best balance, or what I thought were the weapons that were pretty balanced, apart from the ACR. The ACR was pretty powerful, especially in Modern Warfare 3, but personally, you know, I think every other weapon there is pretty balanced in terms of recoil, range, effectiveness, damage, magazine capability, and attachments. As for the SMG, you've got the Vector, the UMP-45, and the P90. Now, again, these are just from launch. There might be additional weapons added into the game eventually, but we never know. Shotguns, we've got the Spaz 12, the M1014, which is like a pump action, and obviously the Ranger from Modern Warfare 2. So I'd like to see those 3 shotguns return. The sniper rifles I'd like to see return is the Intervention, the MSR, the M21, the Barrett. So obviously 4 sniper rifles there. 2 of them being semi-automatic, 2 of them being bolts, just so, you know, balance again, you know. LMGs, we've got the M60, the M240, and the AUG H-Bar. Again, I've gone for, you know, a big magazine, but a lot of bullet spray. I've gone with, you know, a pretty balanced LMG with the AUG H-Bar, and the M240 being a mixture of both. So again, I'm trying to balance the selection out here. As for the explosives, we've got RPG, which speaks for itself, single fire, free fire rocket. We've got a Stinger, which is lock-on for aircraft, and we've got the XM25 airburst grenade launcher. So, you know, absolutely fair enough. Speaks all weapons speak for themselves. Pretty straightforward. I don't need to really explain them. For handguns, we've got the G18 machine pistol. We've got the USP-45, which is a single like semi-automatic 9mm pistol. We've got the M93 Rafika, which is just like a 3-burst sort of kind of machine pistol. We've got the Magnum, which is like a 44 revolver, and we've got the Desert Eagle, which is a 50 caliber version of a 9mm handgun. So we've got those weapons. Obviously, combat knife with additional weapons being added into the game via the DLC, which will then eventually turn into a melee category rather than just combat knife, and obviously the riot shield. So that's basically the weapons that I'd like to see in the game, as far as that's concerned. And I think I've chosen a pretty balanced. I think I've chosen a pretty balanced selection there as far as the weapons are concerned and the perks are concerned. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Like let me know what you think of what might be in the campaign and what might be in the multiplayer. What you'd like to see in the multiplayer and campaign. Let me know all that good stuff. And the last thing I'd like to mention, guys, is the kill streaks, or what we normally would call kill streaks, to remain as score streaks. Because I think it's easier to reward the player rather than to keep them coming back to the game, rather than having them grind out kills. Sort of stops you from camping, really. And obviously score streaks is based on what score you get, rather than if assists kind of count towards it, But what I would like to see, like, as kill streaks or score streaks, whatever, is obviously a UAV, a counter UAV, care package, a predator missile, attack helicopter, a Blackbird or VSAT, a chopper gunner, an EMP, and obviously the good old reliable tactical nuke. So that's basically what I would like to see in the multiplayer. I basically, just like I just said, if you've got anything like to say about what I've said personally, or if you've got any, basically go into the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about what I've said. What would you like to see in the campaign and multiplayer? What would you like to see weapons-wise? What do you want out of this Call of Duty this year? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would absolutely love to find out. We'll have a conversation about it. Why not? So that's basically going to be it for this video. Again, everything I've just mentioned is my own personal views. So we'll see what you guys think of that. So thanks for watching, guys. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button and the notifications icon so you know when I release new content or go live. If you have enjoyed this video, drop a thumbs up. You greatly appreciate it. Like I said, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.